the things that must shortly come to pass. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ which God gave him to show his servants things which must shortly take place, and he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John. Verse 3. Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near. Verse 19. Write the things which you have seen, and the things which are, and the things which will take place after this. And chapter 4 and verse 1. After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. The historical understanding of the book of Revelation, taking into account Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1, 3 and 19 as a guide, sees the book as a prophetic program covering the whole of history from the 1st century AD to the end of time. The book thus becomes a divine portrait of history from the time when John was persecuted in Patmos, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 9, to the present time and beyond, depicting political and ecclesiastical events in symbol, figure or code. In this view, the book is unfolding itself throughout history, even through the present age. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ which God gave him to show his servants things which must shortly take place, and he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John. Things which must shortly take place. This is an important statement, and providing a key to its interpretation. It shows that the correct interpretation is the historical understanding, one which treats the apocalypse as a prophetic plan of unfolding history, the fulfillment of which was about to commence to come to pass shortly after it was given to the Apostle John. The visions and revelations thus cover history from the day of the Apostle to the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near. The time was at hand in the days of John, when the beginning of the prophecies contained in this book were to commence their fulfillment. Things which must take place after this. Write the things which thou hast seen, the first section of the Apocalypse, the initial vision recorded in chapter 1 of the book of Revelation, and the things which are the second section of the Apocalypse, comprising the messages to the 7 churches. Things which must take place after this, the third section of the Apocalypse, containing the unbroken view of the whole of history. Revelation chapter 4 and verse 1. After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven, and after the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. I will show you things which must take place after this. That is, after John had recorded or written the 7 letters to the 7 churches. This is a most important note of time, governing all correct interpretation. This is the key verse of the third section of the Apocalypse. It repeats what John was told in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1 and verse 19. The things revealed to John in Patmos partly fulfilled the promise of John chapter 16 and verse 13. Thus these statements surely indicate that the Apocalypse relates to things that then shortly would begin to come to pass and would continue on until the kingdom is established. Bible prophecy as a dual fulfillment application. The first understanding is a short-term fulfillment, which is now history, that is, a fulfilled prophecy which has happened in the past. Next is the future application or the long-term fulfillment. When we come to the book of Revelation, most people do not understand that it has a dual application. The continuous historical interpretation understands the book of Revelation as setting forth the major events of Christian history springing from the time of John until the second coming. Therefore, the seals, trumpets, and vials have already been fulfilled in the past. However, I believe that the seals, trumpets, and vials also have a dual fulfillment to come to pass in the last days. John was told that the events of the seals must take place. The Olivet prophecy uses the same phrase in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, Luke chapter 21 and verse 9. The Olivet prophecy describes the events of both 70 AD and our present last days, with special reference to the tribulation of God's people, both the natural and spiritual seed of Israel. The connections between the Olivet prophecy and the seals would therefore indicate that the seals, and therefore much of Revelation, as a fulfillment in the last days.